condo sales. That's my niche. I started doing that pretty much straight away when I started in real estate about 8 years ago, and I love it.
Awesome. Jeff, how about you? Great name, by the way.
Thank you, Jeff. Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Dickinson. I guess the only West Coaster here this morning on the panel. So I've been with EXP almost 3 years. Took Glenn another 3 years to convince me to come on board, and shame on me. So three-time icon, had a long career with Remax, and just excited to be here with you guys.
You're a retired balloon guy too, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Melissa, I think I see you behind me, right? Yep, there you are.
Yes. Hi, my name is Melissa Doge. I'm from Southwest Louisiana, Lake Charles, Louisiana, where Hurricane Laura hit. I've been in real estate for 12 years, but I've been with EXP for 3 years. And EXP has really changed my life so much. I also do first-time home buyers. My niche is that. And a little story, a little bit about me is I became deaf, like I couldn't hear, I lost my hearing, and I received a cochlear implant in 2016. So it kind of took me a year to kind of get the voices and things. And one thing my goal was to do was hit Icon Agent, and I got that last year. And I am on the road right now to do it again. So that's a little bit about me.
You nailed it. Congrats. Welcome to the club. It's a great club to be in, and I say that with 6 figures of vesting stock. So Jason, are you here?
Yeah, right behind you.
On the stage. Right behind me. Cool. Jason, tell us a little bit about yourself and neighboring Connecticut.
Hi, I'm Jason Arcuri. I joined EXP in 2017. I actually never know that off the top of my head, so I always have to go to my buyer presentation to figure this out. I am glad I'm not moderating it for once. Need to change of pace. Listen, most of my business was built off of me starting as an investor and then teaching people about homes, and then I grew a lot of trust that way, and I've been an icon for the past 2 years. Should have had it the first year, missed it by like the nose hair. And that's where I'm at.
Cool, great, Jason. Glad you're on the panel. So let's get rolling, Jeff. So tell me, what's your number one differentiator? What is it? What do you do that puts you above the crowd in order to steal a Remax slogan line?
Well, probably 2 things. One is I do a fair amount of business, usually 50 to 75 transactions a year. Probably maybe even exceed that this year. It's kind of a crazy year. And 2 is, I just wake up every morning, and I'm a client generation business, not in the real estate business. So, I look at our biggest county here in the Seattle area, 15,000 real estate agents. There's only 182 that do 20 or more transactions. Close to 14,000 didn't even do a transaction last year. So just amazing.
Awesome. So, all right. But what would you say your differentiator is? That you're in the client generation business? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I really am. And then, the way that I generate clients is unique in itself. So I just totally focus on what I call corporate affinity. So I just generate my clients at the workplace.
Great, awesome, and we're going to have you unpack that. Actually, you know what? Let's unpack that a little bit right now. So tell me, what do you mean by the workplace in generating your clients?
Yeah, so what I do is I really focus on small to medium-sized companies to go after. I put a nice benefit package. It's all about education. It's all about having that go-giver modality. And so I can do 1 transaction for every 100 I represent. So you guys can go out there and find 50 to 1,000 employee companies to get into and be the go-to real estate agent. Grab your favorite mortgage rep and provide some financial and health wellness education and homeownership awareness, and you're going to be doing 1 transaction for every 100 employees. So go find 2,000 employees, and you're doing 20 transactions a year.
That's great. You know, I've been on the stage with you a couple times now, I
Yeah.
think, and I think that is absolutely an amazing pillar in your business, and I applaud you. But to kind of get to the nuts and bolts of it, essentially give, and then you're able to take on the back end, it sounds like. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And if anybody's interested, go to Workplace and go to the Corporate Affinity Marketing Group or become a member of that. And there's a plethora of information, A to Z, on how to do it.
Perfect. New agents, a lot of people say, how can I grow your business? Sounds like that's an amazing pillar to start on. Jason, how about you? So what's your number one differentiator? What makes you so special in Connecticut?
I'm stupid honest. I'm an unprofessional professional is what I call myself. And the people I relate with are huge fans of mine, and the people I don't relate hate the hell out of me. And that really is what keeps business coming in the door and going and turning around a lot.
Gotcha. So you're you. That's your differentiator. That you're not a fake. Okay, I love it. Michelle, how about you? What differentiates you in your marketplace?
So like I said, I specialize in oceanfront condo sales. The condo market is my niche. I believe because there's so many agents, I mean, we're tripping over realtors out there, that it's important to set ourselves apart by picking a niche and being a go-to person in that market. I sell, single family homes, and I can sell off the water. But when people think of condos, they think of Michelle Rinaldi. So that would kind of be my thing that separates myself. And I think in any business, but especially real estate, we need to do something to give ourselves an advantage. And choosing a niche and being a specialist in a small area, I think is better than knowing a little in a huge area.
Great. Yeah, you must be busy with all of our city dwellers moving down to you. Whereabouts are you in Florida?
I'm in South Florida. Specifically, I'm on Singer Island. It's maybe like 15 minutes from the West Palm Beach Airport. It's
area.
4 miles long, and I just drive back and forth through all the condos. And I live there as well. So I live on the island, and then I focus on, this little area of heaven.
Yep, know it well. So Melissa, tell me, what is your number one differentiator? What makes you stand out in front of the crowd or above the crowd?
I guess I'm mostly focused on first-time home buyers in our area. There's a lot of people that don't think that they can purchase a home. So when I get to educate them, they are like, wow, especially our educators over here. Some of them don't think that they have to put 20% down and all this, and it's not there. So when I go and educate my clients, they're like, oh my God, you're the only agent that has really talked to us about educating us about purchasing a home. So I think that's where my niche is kind of more educating the community a little bit more, because there's myths out there.
Great. Awesome. So for people in the crowd, just a quick recap. You have Jeff, who's really differentiating himself through, reaching out to businesses. Jason, he's just himself as an individual. Michelle really focuses on the waterfront, specifically condos. And you've Melissa on first-time home buyers. And I would personally say that I really focus on systems and really systemizing a database and getting back to people quickly and using technology to, really leverage my business. So you have 5 icons standing in front of you on the stage, and we all got here from, different ways, if you will, which is, I think, a huge takeaway. So biggest screw up in running your business. We all make mistakes, but ultimately our mistakes give us the the best recipe for success, if you will. Teach us. So Jeff, where have you screwed up, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, so 36 years being in this business, not working my database in the early years. Boy, it cost me probably millions of dollars. So all of you out in the audience, definitely love your database, your sphere of influence, your clients that you've served, and they're just a plethora of gold in there. It's also a great database if you are getting into corporate affinity to ask your database if they know of key employee or a business owner or manager, because they'll do the heavy lifting for you to get an appointment with the HR manager. So
Awesome. I think that's an amazing piece of advice there. So now, what are you doing today differently in order to work that database? Can you give us one or two examples of things that have been, kind of, if you will, quote unquote, high payoffs?
Yeah. So yeah, definitely, Chubb. So one of the biggest things in the last couple of years is producing HomeBot, just an app for all my database. I think it's homebot.ai. Pretty low cost. It's all about the client, and just a lot of information. They just love it. A lot of interaction there, so that's really beefed it up. Birthday cards, anniversary cards has been a big thing for me the last few years. So those are just two of many.
Yeah, no, I love that. And for everybody there, it is called HomeBot. Literally, it's $25 a month. The interaction with your clients is absolutely unreal. It provides them a breakdown of, essentially if their house is increasing in value, decreasing in value. Also gives them mortgage information. It is high touch. People absolutely love it. HomeBot, $25 a month. If you don't have your sellers and your database on it, then you should really look at that company. So, Jason, tell me, how have you screwed up, and what did you learn from it, and make it into a positive?
Screwing up, I do about daily. So mostly it's
You and me both, brother.
When you screw up, just own up to it. That's the biggest thing. People will respect it, and actually, you look human, and they're gonna send you more referrals because you stand by your word. As far as screwing up, as far as prospecting or whatnot, listen, follow up is where I think we all have the biggest issue. Is I'll make phone calls and I'll find out somebody that I'm calling a year later sold their house a week before I called them, and it's like, oh man, that should have been mine, but I dropped the ball. I would like to say I've learned from that. I can't say I do. I just, when I hit the phones, I hit them hard, but I don't hit them often.
Gotcha. Great. And Michelle, how about you? Where have you made a mistake in your business and you've turned it into a positive?
I think when I first started in real estate, there was a huge learning curve, but I wanted to be like a superhero realtor. When I was working with my buyers, I wanted to like swoop in and get them the best deal that I can and like really beat up the listing agent and get them all the repairs done and just really work hard and get my buyer the best deal, which in turn kind of wasn't the right way to approach things. It's a cooperating broker because we're supposed to cooperate with each other. And in my need to like win, it was making the whole buying experience unpleasant. It wasn't like, wow, this is a great experience. It's like Michelle's just fighting with, the other agent, even though she's working for us. So I think my lesson is we need to all work together. I think the buyer will walk away happier and more of like a raving fan, which is one of my favorite books. If it's a pleasant experience, they'll remember the pleasant experience more than, the $5,000 and the caulking that you got them, for the close. And I think I had to learn that. And learn, to play nice in the sandbox, to work well with others and not be a jerk.
I think that's a great lesson, especially for today, as it's such at least my market, such a hot market that quite frankly, if you're the prick that nobody works with, they're going to do everything possible in order to make sure that your buyer doesn't get that offer or doesn't get that house. So I think that's a great, amazing lesson. Melissa, how about you? Where have you made mistakes in your business?
Well, I've been in real estate for 12 years, and when I first became a realtor, you all hyped up and everything, and I'm gonna make money. And the training was not there for me at first and stuff, so I just had to learn by myself. But when I guess the turning point of my real estate is when I came to EXP. EXP has just given a whole different training and a whole different platform than other agencies have done before for me. So what I try to do on my positive note for my clients and stuff like that is I go and get the story from my clients, because everyone has a story about their life, about how they want to purchase a home, what they went through, and things like that. So I guess maybe my positive is I turn my transactions and things like that into a story.
Perfect. Great. My biggest mistake probably was dropping 140,000 into some TV advertising over 3 to 4 months, and getting $16,000 back in revenue. Put my family in debt, basically put me in the spot where I am today, which made me have to basically shift and adjust my whole entire business model, which has been a huge plus. So we all make mistakes is really the takeaway in that question that I want to get out to everybody. It's how we come back and learn from those mistakes and really grow from those mistakes. So it's no secret, well, in my opinion, it's no secret. We have some headwinds in the marketplace right now. Maybe that bad D word, a downturn, right? Lots of people that are probably going to be facing foreclosure once these foreclosure moratoriums are lifted. So, Jeff, what are you doing to prepare for a future market? And you're in Seattle, so I mean, things are kind of crazy in Seattle, right? I mean, so what are you doing to prepare?
Yeah. So the market's been pretty red hot here. With all the tech, Microsoft, Amazon being based here. So we really haven't seen any signs of a downturn. Usually we see the summer months kind of take a little down. Just haven't seen that this year. I think everybody's staying at home. We just want to buy and sell real estate. So the market's been great. We're actually putting the pedal to the metal right now in anticipation of a little bit of a downturn, so that we can overcompensate. And the worst thing that happens is we'll just we'll do some agent attraction and hand them some clients.
There you go. So explain to me, unpack a little bit what pedal to the metal is. What exactly are you doing and putting the pedal to the metal?
Yeah, so just having a lot of conversations with HR managers. They have time on their hands because they're working from home. We're increasing our home buyer education initiatives. It's all done by Zoom now, so we're getting some big audiences. A few agents are doing that, where it was very diluted before, especially with our down payment assistance program for Washington State. And it just basically trying to find what I call 2 or 3 silver rabbits to chase and just dig in deeper, working our database more. Being more of an advocate because of COVID. Is there anything that we can do to help them? We're just having some great conversations with the database, and that's leading to increased referrals and actually buy sells from the database.
Great, awesome. Jason, how about you? Any changes to your business plan as we kind of move into the next coming months?
No, honestly, the way I run my business, it's more seat of the pants than a super set up system, which will make a lot of people question me. But the reality is I work with a lot of investors. I teach a lot of investors. So if we do hit a lot of foreclosures, we'll be right into that. If not, then, we're also in my market seeing the first real seller's market we've seen in 6-7 years now. So a lot of people we're having now are starting to do flips at a higher rate because the prices jumped up 15% over the last year. So either way, it doesn't matter what the market does. I'll be there for it. I'm good. If it turns down, I'll pick up more first-time buyers. You just have to be willing to adjust and know the different markets. I'm a big believer in a niche, absolutely, but at the same time, being well versed in everything will make it so you could always adapt.
Awesome. Great. Michelle, how about you? Have you made any adjustments to your business model?
So most of my owners own their condos outright. I deal with a lot of people who have owned for a while. They're also out of state. So a lot of my sellers and a lot of people that live on Singer Island, they live, up north, or they live in other countries. So I'm not going to see a lot of foreclosures because everybody pretty much paid cash. Only recently am I seeing, people do financing because money's so cheap, even though they have the cash. So the market's a little different for me. But what I did do is, because of COVID and because of all the travel bans and because of my large Canadian population on Singer Island, I feel that this will prompt a lot of people to want to sell their property. So knowing this, I came up with, and I just really made it up. It was like a snowbird savings program. And I feel that it's nothing, it's a letter. I literally mailed a letter, but I named it something pretty interesting, Snowbird Savings Program. Oh, what's this? And I think that if you call things a program or make it just a little bit, package it pretty, it helps in business. So I just mailed a letter, out to all Canadian sellers, or owners rather, because I think listings are gonna increase in my market, and that's what I was targeting. I hope that answered the question.
I think that's a great answer to the question.
Okay, good. Sometimes I go off on my own tangents.
No, look, I'm doing the same thing. I mean, we have inventory drastically increasing in Boston, and those sellers are wanting to move out. So I created, to your point, it's all about marketing, a Boston to the Burbs program where, home sellers that are buying can, get $15,000 cash back at closing, right? I think creative solutions, just like yourself, is how we can we grow our own personal market share when maybe a market's decreasing. So I think that's a great answer. Melissa, how about you? Has your business model changed, or are you preparing to change it any while we possibly shift into a different market?
Well, we just got hit with a horrible hurricane, Laura. So but prior to that, our market was really good and everything, and the Hurricane Laura just kind of damaged every property. So what I came up with was getting with some investors and having investors buy properties and fix them up. They have their own crew to come in and get everything back on the market in January, a 3-month, so we can have a hot market and people get in the house. There's so many people that are homeless right now. So that's what I'm trying to do for people to purchase a house, is get the investors to come in and rebuild the community.
Perfect. So weird announcement. Great, perfect. So let's go back to, Jeff, you mentioned that a lot of your clients are coming from the corporate world. Are you buying any leads from any online sources, or are you 100% organic?
I'm just really learning that system. I'm probably about 80 grand into it. So, kind of your recent comments on your TV experience. So I'm just, really digging into the internet leads. I started a nonprofit homeownership grant about 2 years ago. It provides 1% of the purchase price to homeowners, and I'm just trying to figure out how to generate clients that as the shtick, and it's been very, very expensive. So right now I'm just going out and, the nice thing about the EXP family is that there's a lot of expertise there. So I'm starting to emulate a couple of agents that are really hitting the ball on generating clients, through Facebook, things like that.
Great. Awesome. Jason, how about you? Where do your clients come from? Are they organic? I know you said you work with investors, but is it all organic, word of mouth, or are you using, online resources in order to gain those leads?
So it's a very vast mix. So There's a lot of leads I get from just being on Facebook, social media all the time. And then I do work with Op City and Mellow Homes. I'll give them, their big freaking cut, but at the end of the day, every now and then it's worth it there. Then I'll cold call people. And then Z Buyer I use if you want that. That's a great one for sellers. And it's more often than not, it's picking up the phone and getting in touch with them. And then, I do get a lot of word of mouth. If you are going to do investors, if you really want to get involved in that, I highly recommend Bigger Pockets. I usually pick up 1 or 2 clients a year from there who then basically are super loyal investors because they're starting out, and, I teach them the ropes. And I have one right now. They're looking to purchase their 5th one with me this year.
That's awesome. That's great. Just for people in the audience, Op City, and who was the other referral partner you talked about, Jason?
Mellow Homes.
And Mellow Homes. The referral partners, essentially, they send you leads, and then you have to pay a good old-fashioned referral fee to the company that generates the leads, but you don't pay anything for the leads. There's no upfront cost, which is why those can be nice to us agents. Michelle, how about you? Are you more organic? Do you purchase leads? How does your business work?
I am a huge fan of Zillow. I purchase leads from Zillow. I've been doing it. I was super nervous when I first started buying Zillow leads. Maybe it was at least 5 years ago I've been doing it. And it's been really amazing. But again, just to the market that I'm in, it's people are buying, vacation homes. So, New Yorkers, people from New Jersey, everyone is on Zillow. That's where they're looking to see what's on the market for sale. And then that's why it really works well for me. I've gotten buyer leads from Zillow. Inadvertently, just sellers looking on Zillow have contacted me. They see my reviews. They see that I specialize in the area. And I've also gotten referrals just because I have such a massive internet presence. I've gotten referrals from, agents in other states saying, oh, hey, I have a buyer looking. I literally just closed on a $1.2 million condo. It was a referral from an agent. I didn't even know who he was in another state. Where was he? Atlanta. He was in Georgia, and he goes, oh yeah, you seem to be the best fit. And I ended up working with this buyer. So Zillow for me is huge. But there's a strategic way you need to go about using them, so you don't just throw your money away. It's important that you kind of have a plan in place and work it. You need to know how to convert over the phone. And I'm really good on the phone. And it takes time and practice and, but it's, and now, that I've been doing this for so long and I've made a name for myself in condos, I get a lot of referrals. People whose homes I've listed. I kind of started out as a buyer's agent, and now I would say I'm 50-50. I work with buyers and sellers. I prefer the listings. I just like that creative aspect and the marketing of it. And I give my husband all the buyers. He's Canadian, so he's got the patience to run around with people and thinks everyone is nice. So that's kind of how we break it up.
Now, do you have a team, or is it just you?
Yeah, it's me, my husband, and my 2 daughters. No, I'm kidding. They're little. It's just me and my husband, and we kind of we do everything. So yeah.
So Zillow is very similar. I see some comments here. Zillow and Realtor.com are the exact same in regards to what they do. It's going to be a higher cost per lead, but those leads are towards the bottom of the funnel, so they're ready to, generally speaking, ready to make that decision sooner rather than later. Hence why they do cost more. For anybody who is scaling up with the team, just keep in mind, because I used to crush it with Zillow, and then I really scaled up with a team, and all of a sudden when you're giving away 50% of your total revenue, it really adjusts and changes that ROI. So Zillow, I promise you, Zillow is the exact same as Realtor.com. Melissa, how about you? Do you use organic leads?
I purchase leads from Realtor.com and Zillow, and that's mostly where all my business comes from, and it has been a great opportunity for me. I buy all the zip codes in our area, and I work my leads. The hardest part where some agents fail is called follow-up. and I follow up on a 7-point to 10-point scale to retrieve those clients. And I'm always closing. That's my thing. It's ABC. Always be closing. Thank you.
I think that's a great point, Melissa. And I especially whether you're buying Zillow leads, Realtor.com leads, or, you know, I buy 800 to 1,000 Facebook leads per month. Google pay-per-click and Facebook leads. It doesn't matter what type of lead you buy. I think follow-up is the key. So let's unpack that a little bit in regards to what people are doing in order to, because that is the key to our business. That is the key to success in this business. So Melissa, follow-up. Talk to us a little bit about what you're doing for follow-up, your systems. You know, do you have a certain, you know, touch system? You know, just unpack it for us. How are you finding success with your follow-up?
The one thing, like last year, you know, the KV Core doing the campaign and all of that, you know, the KV Core campaign, I did that. But then I'm always a workplace looking for new ideas. I'm always reading and seeing what other agents are doing in the different world. And I got a text one day from his name is Trevor Ainsworth, and he said, "Hey, what are you doing with your leads that are just sitting out in your database?" And I replied back and I said, "Well, KV Core campaign." So he has a program called Shout Boss. And when I tell you that has just made a big, tremendous in my my business, it is a platform. So if I'm showing a property or anything, a lead comes in from Realtor.com and I don't catch it, but maybe another agent does or whatever, but they're not doing the follow-up, this platform does. And it has made a big, big impact into my business.
The program is called Shout Boss. Trevor, he is it is an amazing, it is a great program. Will drastically help with follow-up for the people that are asking the question. Shout Boss, and he's a great guy as well. Michelle, how about you?
I forgot the question.
Follow-up. How do you do it? How do you do it? You know, what type of systems do you use? You know, where do you see your success? Just unpack, you know, talk to us about follow-up, because that's the most important part of our business.
Yeah, it's true. I agree. There's so many times I take buyers out that come down, they're looking, and then it could, you know, they could come down 2 or 3 times on vacation before they buy something, you know, fast forward about a year. And so KV Core does help with my follow-up. I had a couple looking to buy. They were looking on Singer Island. They were in my KV Core. They came in as a lead on Zillow. You know, it automatically dumped them into my KV Core and set them up on a drip campaign. I showed the husband and the wife some condos on Singer Island, and they just weren't finding anything that they liked. And then KV Core, I didn't even know, sent them an email and like made plans for me. I'm like, what? And it said, hey, I've got some free time on the weekend. Do you want to get together and look at properties? I had no idea KV even did that. And then the wife said, oh yeah, we actually were interested in this community in Jupiter. And now I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And then I realized, oh, KV Core is following up for me. And they bought a place in I never would have even asked them to look in Jupiter. I never would have called them. I had my own dang plans that weekend. And KV Core changed them on me. But they did buy this super cute townhome from me, and it wasn't on the water. So, like, you know, I guess things like that. And you know, when they just recalling, shooting emails, sending a text, you know, little things. Sometimes I stalk them out outside the hotel if they're staying on the island, you know, whatever. You do what you got to do.
Nope, absolutely. And I'm sure you didn't have any problem paying your technology fee after KV Core softballed that one up for you that month. So,
no.
Jason, how about you? How do you handle follow-up? Because investors they're a different animal. So I think there could be some lessons to learn here.
Well, it's funny because I actually got rid of that line from KV Core. I cannot stand I got some free time this weekend because I really protect my time drastically. So I don't like getting forced into something like that. But otherwise, as far as follow-up goes, I mean, with investors, I really am looking every day at what's on the market, what's popping up for investment properties. And with something like ZBuyer and some of my home seller leads, I also have a couple wholesalers that will send me information on stuff. So it's for those people, it's just literally the investors know when I reach out to them, it's just me. I found something. If they don't hear from me in a month, they really don't care. Like they just know when I say pull the trigger, it's time to pull the trigger. For regular buyers and sellers, buyers, listen, you want to be in touch with, especially in the beginning. I make them do a buyer presentation with me on Zoom, and it's changed my business like no other. Again, since I protect my time, I really love doing the Zoom meeting because as soon as I get off the Zoom meeting, I get to go play with my kids if I want, like I get to be with my family. That is huge because they already love you. I already tell them you could text me 24 hours a day, and most of my clients love text messages, so we just chat like through there. I don't have a great system. When I get a little slower, or I get a little free time, I literally plug in every old lead I have, and I just hit the auto dialer, and I'll pop out 100, 200 phone calls to people who were there in the past.
Awesome, great. And Jeff, how about you? Tell me a little bit about your follow-up.
Yeah, so I pretty much track my clients on an Excel spreadsheet. With having these corporate clients, and I want to emphasize that this is all local and crosstown moves. This is not relocation. I hate relocation. These clients are in and out of my ecosystem usually within 30 days. They're calling me on a Tuesday. Hey, do you have time on Thursday or Saturday to take me out? I've got 3 MLS numbers in my hand. Let's go buy a house. Or hey, Jeff, can you come over Tuesday afternoon to list my house? So I'm not competing with any other agent. That's the nice thing of having the credibility from the companies behind you. I also use a Hot Prospector as my CRM. Especially as I'm starting to dig in, I think I've got 1,500, I'll just call them internet leads that I'm incubating. Totally different world for me because these guys are upstream. They're 6-9 months, a year, or never from buying. Where my corporate clients are, they're calling me. They're teed up, ready to go. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Awesome, great. And so for me, I have a database of over 20,000 people. Just the biggest part of follow-up, what I didn't hear anybody say, so I just kind of want to say to you guys is when you're bringing in as many leads as we do per month, you start seeing trends. And we're seeing more and more and more of a trend shifting from the good old-fashioned phone call over to people wanting to communicate over text messages. And that's part of what Shoutboss is. It's all text. A text follow-up system. If you're not utilizing text messages in your follow-up, you are missing out on a very monumentally huge part of the business and leaving a fortune on the table. And to give you an idea, we have a 51% response rate to our artificial intelligence. So 51% of every single lead that comes in is responding to our artificial intelligence versus, if you were to call somebody, maybe you're going to have get 10 connections per 100, 10%. So text messages is so important with follow-up. So Jason, you were talking about buyer presentations, and let's just pivot here real quick. Who on the panel uses buyer presentations? I know Jason does. What about you, Jeff, and Michelle and Melissa?
I do not use a buyer presentation. Right now, I'm just Zooming with them. Prior, I used to spend half my life at Starbucks just sitting down with them for an hour.
Michelle, do you use a buyer presentation?
No.
Melissa, do you?
No.
And Melissa, how about you?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Do you use a buyer presentation, Melissa?
No,
Perfect. Let's talk you and Jason a little bit. Tell us a little bit about Melissa. Tell us a little bit about your buyer presentation. How long is it? What are you going over? What are the main most important parts? And then also, are you pushing for a buyer agency contract after that presentation? Melissa?
Oh, I'm sorry. My internet keeps on going in and out. I apologize. Okay, so say that again. I'm sorry.
Your buyer presentation, what are you going over? How long is it generally? And are you pushing for a buyer agency contract afterwards?
I don't really do, when you say a buyer presentation, what exactly are you talking about?
Like, do you sit down? Okay, I thought you said, Jason, how about, let's go to you first. Jason, you said you do a buyer presentation over Zoom. So talk to me a little bit about your buyer presentation, and do you push for a buyer agency contract?
Buyer agency, if I get them on Zoom for a buyer consultation, they are signing a piece of paper at the end, or they're not going out with me. At that point, I've already spent, about 45 minutes with them. It's up to them if they want to work with me or not. And basically, the buyer presentation I used actually came from EXP's digital marketplace or whatever, and I modified it slightly to me. And it's just to keep me on track. And I literally go from the entire, through the entire presentation of, this is the different types of loans. And if they don't have a lender already, this is the different types of loans. If you haven't talked to a lender, this is what to expect. And this is what I bring to the table. And what I bring to the table is usually I know houses. So I do a mini inspection. I go through the house with them and I point out, this is a 30-year-old furnace. So it is at the end of life. If this is an issue, then you don't want to pay for an inspection and find out that this is an issue, because nobody's fixing a perfectly working furnace. So we have other options for you too. We could get you a home warranty if you want to buy it and it is a concern, but you also understand that. And basically it makes it so my buyers are super well prepared, that we're not going back and like nitpicking on inspections. We're not like going crazy on stuff, and they are perfectly fine signing the agreement. And then part of the agreement is, if you don't like working with me, I will totally sign the release with them. And I have, like, okay, we just couldn't, we didn't meld right. And they're like, listen, and they're like, no, we want to go somewhere else. Okay, here you go. Here's your release. Just having the paperwork signed early already puts in their head that they're working with me. It doesn't allow another agent to come in and say, hey, by the way, you don't have a signed agreement. Let me talk to you. Like,
absolutely.
So I love doing it. They get to know me. I get to know them, and we get to see if we're the right fit. And not everybody's the right fit. And that's part of being who I am, is finding people who are the right fit with me.
Perfect. That's great. And to answer the question, if you're not using a presentation, how are you initially connected with the buyers? I think a lot of people are going to say meeting with them at the first listing that they want to take a look at, to answer that question, Nana. So we got a couple minutes left. Any questions from the audience? At Michelle, how do you connect with condominium sellers?
It's okay. So sometimes it can be a little bit difficult, because a lot of my sellers, like I said, are out of state and out of the area. I do teach a condo class the third Wednesday of every month in EXP World, where I go into like detail about marketing, getting listings, and all that kind of stuff. But just to summarize, making your presence known in a condo is huge, because residents will automatically start talking to you because they haven't seen your face before. I would say you can go book to preview any property that is on the market for sale in a building that you do want to work in. And then I would also be super nice to the people that work in the building. You have no idea how much shit or crap, I don't know what curse words are allowed in here, that they deal with. So if you're nice and they like you, I get a ton of referrals from people that work in the condos, and they are huge, and they are like trusted by the residents. And then there's also message boards. Some of the owners will hang up, hey, I want to sell, for sale by owner, no realtors call. And then I call and I said, listen, I don't want to list your place, I just want to see it in case I have a buyer. you know what, if you need help, I'm there to help you. And then, sooner or later, they'll kind of come around and be like, you know what, maybe you can list my place. And then I've got a ton of marketing things. I mean, I've got about 5 or 6 different marketing ideas and ways to get their listing as soon as I find out why they don't want to list with a realtor. What is that problem?
Awesome, great. I don't know who Glenda Lehu was, but you're a lot of white noise. So to let one question ask me, what is the AI platform that I use? I use a platform called Structurally. If you reach out to them, just let them know. I was one of their first customers. They are fantastic. I can't even begin to say enough good things about Structurally and artificial intelligence and what it's done for my business. Mike, you said, I'm thinking you mean how do you pick a niche for niche marketing? So, Michelle, you have your little niche. How did you get into that specific niche and why did you pick it?
Well, when I just kind of fell into it, I found that when I first started in my real estate career, I wanted to sell single family homes like everybody else. And I kind of repelled the idea of selling condos, even though I had lived in condos in 2 countries and was currently living in a condo in my main farm area. Anyway, I just kind of embraced it, and it has been such a blessing. I don't work weekends. If I'm working after 3 p.m., I'm almost annoyed. Like, really? Are you kidding me? Like, no. And I usually don't start my day until 10. The condos allow me that luxury and to be home, with my kids and not to work so much on the weekends. So I just kind of fell into it. And then I realized, you know what, this is such a dream. Inspections are usually about an hour. I don't need to worry about, roofs being replaced or any kind of major structural things that make buyers want to back out from deals. Nobody's going to be like, oh my God, this is more than we can afford, because your HOA fee, it's right there. It's $1,000 a month to live here. It's not like, oh my God, I had no idea, what the insurance is, what the to maintain a pool, the secure. It's a very simple, easy niche to either focus in primarily or to just add to your already existing business. I strongly believe, and I absolutely love it. I do sell single family homes. I have, and I but I love the condos. I don't need to have signs. There's no for sale signs. I don't do open houses. I had to sell a house, and I'm like, oh, I don't even have a sign for the front yard. I had to run out and buy one, stick it, and I'm like, an open house, like what, whatever. And I came up with all these cute ideas, and it was fun because it was something different. But I'm like, holy hell, I would not want to do this all the time. So I love the condos. I can show 10 condos in the time you all can show 2 houses.
And you mentioned you have a training. When is your training?
Oh, I teach, how to make 6 figures selling condos. I teach it the 3rd Wednesday of every month. And it's 10, of course it's going to be at 10 a.m. because I don't work before 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There you go. Perfect. Hopefully that answers. Jeff, you have a pretty interesting niche. How did you get into that one?
Yeah, just, 15 years ago when I got back into focus on residential, I was sitting at Starbucks looking out the window about 1 o'clock. I knew that I wasn't good on the telephone, knew that I wasn't good at knocking on doors, asking if you want to sell your home. So I thought, where are my clients? It's 1 o'clock. They're at work. So I'm going to focus and put an initiative together. And about a week later, happened to be playing golf and got teamed up with the PR manager for Boeing, small company, maybe heard of it. Have that contract to this day, and then just really started focusing on those 50 to 1,000 employee companies in my marketplace. So it's been a great, fantastic niche.
Perfect. Great. And Melissa, somebody would like to know, Anna would like to know how you connect with potential buyers. I think you said Zillow and Realtor.com. Is that correct?
Yes, Realtor and Zillow. So the number one thing I learned in my real estate was when I get a lead that comes in, I hurry up and answer the phone as quickly as possible. Okay? I make the appointment. I don't ask them if they're pre-approved or anything like that, because I have lenders out there that can work some miracles. Okay? So I first say, hey, when do you want to go look at the property? They say, well, can we go to the I say, yeah, no problem. Let me make an appointment. So I meet my client and I get the story from them. They might say, well, I have this. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what we can do. It's always about a win-win for me. Thank you.
Great. Awesome. Yeah, I think that any other questions that we might have here before we kind of start wrapping this up? So, real quick, just as kind of an outro, if you just want to say kind of where your market is, so that way, all these people on the stage have taken time out of their day. So if you do have referrals, I'm sure everybody would really appreciate it. Jeff, what markets are you working?
Yeah, so I'm in the greater Seattle area. Pretty much work about an hour north and an hour south and east of that. I will say that I've received about a dozen referrals that we've got under contract this year. So kind of a cool thing about being an icon, and so there's a great built-in opportunity there for EXP agents. Love it.
And Jeff, what's your workplace group?
It's a corporate affinity marketing group. I'll throw it in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you. Jason, how about you?
Sorry about that.
Nope.
I missed the question.
I was just what markets you're working, so that way people know for any referrals.
Oh, west side of Connecticut for the most part. I cover almost the whole west side. Connecticut's nice and small, so you're never really more than an hour away from anything. Beautiful.
And Michelle?
Yeah, I do, South Florida, West Palm Beach, mostly oceanfront condos, anywhere in kind of this location, West Palm Beach area.
And Melissa, how about you?
What was the question?
What markets you serve?
The markets the share, is that what you said?
That you serve, that you work in.
Oh, I work in the Lake Charles, Louisiana area, so for the Southwest Louisiana.
Great. And I'm in the Boston metro market. I service pretty much the whole eastern side of the state, and can help you for any of that. So if there are no other questions, I think that I hope that you guys have gotten a decent amount out of this conversation. Feel free to always reach out to any of us should you have any questions or want any of us to elaborate on what we're doing and how we're finding success. One of the great things about EXP is that we help one another out. So to that point, I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and we'll look forward to seeing you in a week.
Good. Thanks, Jeff. Great job.
Thanks, Jeff. Pleasure being on
Thank
stage
you.
with you yet again.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys. That was fun.